think about the optics of things. It can really help us understand what's going on.
Two joints.
Yung pinapangarap po nating bansa.
Pagandahin po natin ang ating minamahal na bansang Pilipinas.
Today, we're very, very happy to have with us Miss Mitch, or rather Micheline Rama, communications professor, and she's also the founder of Dakila, the artist organization, an artist organization for social change. Well, hello, Mitch, again, and thank you again, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Excited to to have this conversation, Mon.
Well, we're going to have a very colorful time because the subject of our discussion for this particular episode is a very colorful and visual person himself, none other than the mayor of Manila.
Yes.
Mayor Isko Moreno. Okay, and since it's very visual, he's very visual, why don't we start with his signature video?
Dami nasusulat na talino, ay kaalaman sa mga aklat na napakahalaga. Pero kahit gano'n pa kalino, matama na natili kang bulag kung di marunong magbasa. Nais lang mabuhay na walang away, walang kulay. Yung problema'y matatapos hanggang makaraos. Sama-sama tayo magtagumpay, pantay-pantay na pag-ibig sa lahat. Kayo mang di maputi o moreno ang balat. Kahit di na para sa ating kundi, para na lang sa mga bata. Kaya ikaw na Isko, wala nang maraming dahilan. Posible kung galing makupad na di makausad, dapat na nating palitan. Ikaw na Isko, mangarap ka, huwag kang magalangan.
Pwede.
Kahit mahirap, ikay magsumikap sa buhay, laging galingan. Ikaw na Isko, wala nang maraming dahilan.
Kaya.
Kung galing makupad na di makausad, dapat na nating palitan. Ikaw na Isko, mangarap ka, huwag kang magalangan.
Naman.
Kahit mahirap, ikay magsumikap sa buhay, laging galingan. Ikaw na Isko, Isko, Isko.
Okay, and the title of that video is, of course, very appropriate, Na Isko. What's your reaction when you see this video, Mitch? What can you say about it?
It's a very interesting video. I would say on the surface, there's a clear message that it wants to convey, and it wants to establish Isko as his persona as the laking tondo, ang batang tondo na laki sa kalye, while also reinforcing that prior to his political career, he was a movie star. So it's a mix of grit and gloss, if you notice.
Wow.
Yung
Oh, wow,
setting is very gritty. Lahat na lang ng mga the sando, the kwek-kwek, the tricycle. But if you notice yung production and even yung quality ng kanta, very glossy, very professionally made. So parang showing maybe two sides of his personality. Now, my question is, does it work?
Well, pero there are not many people who can tell this kind of story.
Yes.
Di ba? In fact, kung titignan mo yung buhay nga ni Isko, parang script ng pelikula
Maalaala mo kaya, meron nga siyang maalaala mo kaya, feeling ko hindi nila kinailangan baguhin yung kwento.
Well, yun
Just
nga,
as
di ba?
is.
Batang kalye,
Yes.
laking tondo, tapos nagbasurero. No, I mean, so yung nakikita mo eksena dyan ay, kumbaga, talagang halaw. It's taken from his real life. But at the same time, celebrity looks.
Yes.
Poging-pogi, malayo pa, makikita mo, uy, sino yun? So, but the question is, what do you think? Does it work? Does it deliver a message that supports let's say, a candidacy for the presidency?
I think it supports his brand. It's an introduction, pagpapakilala. Kasi hindi mo naman makikita yung plataforma, wala siyang pinapangako.
That's right.
Siguro sa lyrics, but the visuals actually, when you see the video, halos kahit hindi mo napakinggan yung lyrics, it's just establishing him as a man of the people.
Okay.
No other arguments necessary. I'm one of you. Yun yung sinasabi nung video.
Well, mabigat yun.
Oo.
Let's say by itself, without saying anything about what you're going to do.
Yes.
No? At saka, we're jumping ahead to the messaging, but in the way he speaks, in some of his remarks, parang ang isang subliminal message niya is, alam kong problema nyo. Dinaanan ko lahat yan.
Yes.
No? Parang, that I'd say that's a really powerful message, di ba?
Yes, and there's very few in the current slate that could claim it.
Sabagay.
Yeah.
Yung iba, sige, tutulong, no? Pero siya mismo ay dumanas ng ganong klaseng hirap. Well, that's a different story, no? Okay. Well, yung pagiging... here's... Oh, yan. Here's some nice, ano?
Yeah.
This is his celebrity days nung bata-bata pa siya. By the way, kung hindi nyo pa alam mga kapatid, no? Kaya nga naging Isko Moreno, si Isko. Dahil kay Herman Moreno. Kasi nagsimula siya sa That's Entertainment.
Yes.
Di ba? Oo. And one of his, the first film that he was in the title role, I think this was in 1994. No? Yan. Ang character niya ata si Toby. Yung muntik kitang minahal. No?
Very heartthrob.
Well, alam mo, this one, that kind of personality, that kind of image rather, is an attention grabber.
Yes.
No? So, parang dumating lang si Isko sa isang lugar dinudumog na ng mga tao Okay. The question is, sige, maybe we'll get into messaging later, no? What do you do with that?
Yeah. Because for what I'm seeing now, obviously here you see yung history niya as yun na nga, heartthrob, movie star, teen idol. But I would suspect that a big chunk of the voters actually have either forgotten this or were not old enough to see this. Makikita mo sa dating niya and the way that he carries himself, he knows he's a star. And potentially his background, his history as being a star, a legitimate star from, a very young age is something na dala niya, may dating siya. Well, actually, that's the other question, no? Parang chicken or egg. Kaya ba siya naging artista dahil may dating na siya? O nahasa niya yung pag-carry ng sarili niya, pag-present niya ng sarili niya through his showbiz career?
Well, I think, to begin with, may dating na talaga siya kasi I think the story is nandun sa isang party na nakita siya ng isang agent. No? So, that usual discovery moment.
Yes.
Uy, mukhang may potential itong batang ito. So, gano'n, no? So, he has that star quality. No? And having developed that star quality in a very harsh environment.
Yes.
No? I think gives him a vantage point that's kind of rare.
Yes.
No? But, okay. Well, let's see. What now will Mayor Isko do with that attention-grabbing quality? Sige, let's take a look at that. In the meantime, mga kapatid, we'll take a break. Don't go away.
This is James Spencer from the UP Fighting Maroons. Watch the UAAP Season 84 on the UAAP Varsity channel. Available on Cignal TV and Cignal Play. UP Fight.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to continue our discussion with Mitch Rama, and we're taking a look at the optics of Isko Moreno. And there is a lot of optics here. Okay, we've already discussed his image, and actually the original quality of it. Yung tunay, hindi siya fake. Okay, but then the question is, okay, you've got all of this attention-grabbing capability. Now, what do you do when you have people's attention? What's the messaging?
Yes.
Now, ikaw, from your impression, Mitch, what's the key message that Isko has been pushing, and does it work? Okay, and first is, what is it?
Here's the interesting thing about Isko. I noticed, depending on who he's talking to, he will package his message slightly differently. So for the general public, he does very, very rely on the image of I'm one of you. I know where you're going, I know your problems, and I can solve them. And then he shifts to perhaps a more technical terminology when it comes to more formal settings like debates or interviews na nagiging crisis manager yung persona niya na kaya niyang mag-hands-on at kaya niyang mag-manage. But in terms of messaging, he really does highlight his best side depending on who he's talking to.
Let's focus on that point, Mitch, about him being a crisis manager. Parang ano eh, based on Isko's experience, it's like talking from the point of view of being an LGU head.
Yes.
Di ba? Pero kung mayor ka, katulad ni President Duterte, mayor siya for so many years, di ba? Parang pag sinabi mong crisis manager, ang kino-convey niya doon hands-on eh.
Yes, very much.
Hindi yung malayo ka, meron kang utusan, and somebody else will do it. No, the image that you project is that, no, I'll do it myself. Mas maganda ba yun?
I think it's been effective for Duterte, so we'll see what that how that plays out for Isko. Pero yes, yung executive na hands-on experience niya ay isang premium na kaya niya talagang i-bandera.
Is that kind of messaging or visualization, mas malakas ang tama ba sa ordinaryong tao?
I think mas malapit. Kasi balik tayo sa word na crisis. May urgency. At yung urgency na yan, kapag ordinaryong Pilipino, ramdam mo na may problema, may gutom, may sakit, may hinanakit. And someone who says that I'll fix it myself immediately, instead of waiting for Congress or Senate or some other laws to pass, would provide a more compelling character, di ba? Parang bidang-bida siya. So, hindi lang star sa pelikula, star pa rin. Parang siya yung hero coming in to save the day kasi siya mismo yung mag-hands-on.
And the other element of that, Mitch, he can also say with confidence na, alam ko yung lahat ng problema niyo. Dinaanan ko lahat yan. Basurero ko ng ilang taon di ba? Okay, but having said that, now let's now go to the messaging side, Kasi kung ganyan ang orientation at saka visual projection, I want to pick up from sinabi mo kanina Depende sa sinong kausap niya. Iniiba niya yung mensahe niya. Can you elaborate on it? Kasi on the one hand, it can be very good for communications.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it can be a bit confusing. Kung ano pa talaga? What is his position talaga? How do you weigh that?
It's very interesting kasi yun na nga, for communications, you should be mindful kung sino yung audience na kausap mo. And to some extent, there should be flexibility, depende sa kausap. But at the same time, it does give off an impression of perhaps trying to pander or trying to find the right thing to say depending on who you're talking about, rather than having a consistent persona or a consistent set of messages na pinipresent mo. So, it depends on the interpretation and perhaps how it plays out, na kung ano ba yung sinabi mo sa isang particular audience ay yun talaga yung gagawin mo, o depende rin kung sino yung magiging pinaka-urgent mo na constituency for that moment.
Well, kasi sometimes you can get criticized for being, sinasabi mo lang yan para lang medyo papalakpakan ka nakausap mo Pero talaga bang yun ang paninindigan mo? Is that what you really think? What's the risk of that?
The risk of that is really appearing weak or appearing like you don't know your own mind. And I don't think Isko is there, not necessarily. It's us reading between the lines kasi we pay attention. If someone is only looking at maybe one or two channels, kunwari sa TV mo lang siya nakikita o sa radyo mo lang siya narinig o sa social media, versus people maybe like us who are looking at the different spectrums of communication platforms, hindi mo naman mapapansin yan. But it's just something to note that there is really a premium being put on him trying to court the audience. Naniligaw siya ng audience. Gusto niya talaga na you'll be on his side.
Oh, okay. Right. Pero there comes a question of ano bang hinahanap ng tao. Kasi for example, di ba, maganda na kung hinahanap mo sa isang kandidato, sa isang leader na tapat siya, consistent siya, may consistency. Minsan, halimbawa, this is one observation by some people, and we're still focusing on the messaging. Nag-iiba yung messaging ni Isko One example. Dati-rati hindi siya masyado mainit doon sa issue ng estate taxes ng mga Marcoses. For the past couple of weeks, parang tuloy-tuloy ang salita niya doon I mean, how do you interpret, or what impact would that have on his image?
I think he's trying to get the spotlight on his image. Mukhang in that scenario, hinahabol niya kung ano yung pinag-uusapan, kung nasan yung atensyon, at pinoposition niya yung sarili niya nandun. I think there is a recognition that he's not leading on any of the surveys. So he needs to get himself out there. He needs to get the bandwidth, the limelight, para mapansin siya at yung kampanya niya.
Okay, so kumbaga, kung saan mainit, saan may sunog, dapat nandun ka.
Nandun siya, oo.
Ito kumalat talaga sa social media. Yung hand sign. Paano ba yun? Ganito, no? Okay. I can't quite do it right, no? Pero anyway. yung sign na yun, hindi ba risky yung ganong klaseng, ano? O pakwela ba? I mean, pakwela effect ang, how do you gauge that? Kasi, alam naman maraming tao kung anong ibig sabihin nito, hindi ba? No? It's something that you don't normally bring to a coffee shop.
Baka Briton, pwede. Yeah, I think he's really, he's playing with the image din. The different audiences siguro he has in mind that yung baka wala rin siyang masyadong care kung ano yung interpretation, basta this is how he wants to present himself. So there's fearlessness there, but there's also a sense na parang medyo kampante siya, secure siya, na kahit kung ano yung i-present niya sa hand signals niya ay solid pa rin yung reputation niya.
Okay, well, sa bagay, no? Nabanggit mo yun, no? Kasi kahit yung lingwahe niya, hindi ba parang salitang kalye? Gedli, no? Bandang wakali, alam niyo bang ibig sabihin yun? How does that, enhance his image? I mean, because he's obviously doing it deliberately. No?
Yes.
Diba?
Yun na nga, parang it doesn't seem that in his day-to-day life, kahit na laking tondo siya, mukhang sa pagiging yorme niya, ginagamit niya ba talaga to in his normal conversations? O yun talaga ay parang overlay lang na nilalagay sa persona or hinahaitan sa persona niya kasi may particular image siyang gustong iparating. Ito yung aspeto na pilit sa tingin ko. Just because, yun na nga, parang kung iisipin mo talaga in his day-to-day life as mayor, ganyan ba talaga siya magsalita?
But, it's that down, the word in English is folksy.
Yes. Colloquial.
Diba?
Oo.
So, folksy means I am approachable, I am, you can talk with me and I can talk with you. Okay? So, well, whatever happens to his candidacy, I think he's creating enough material for another movie.
Yeah.
Sige. Wait, Mitch, we got to take a break.
All right.
Okay, and when we come back, we'll wrap up this thing and what we see about Isko Moreno, where is his candidacy going, at least where is his image going. Mga kapatid, we'll be right back.
Reliable 100% fiber internet kaya ang sarap maging tambahay with Red Fiber.
Hi, this is Rafi Verano of the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Watch UAAP Season 84 on UAAP Varsity Channel. Available on Cignal TV and Cignal Play. One big fight.
Okay, welcome back mga kapatid. Okay, we're going to continue our discussion of the campaign of Isko Moreno. And like we were saying earlier, talagang puro entertainment itong, that's entertainment itong episode na to. And let's show them some more. Okay, here's some nice video of what Isko does in his TikTok videos.
Nung araw, paro-parong bukid, paro-paro. Ngayon, millennials, paro-paro G.
Okay. Whatever happens in this election, Mitch, I think Isko is probably going to win the best dancing category.
Oh, for sure.
Hands down. Anyway, but that's the image, no?
Yes.
But we also have to pay attention to the serious stuff that he says. And like, I want to pick up from what you said earlier na mukhang ang trust ng kanyang messaging is that I'm a hands-on guy.
Yeah.
This is the LGU perspective na mayor, no? Ganon. And how important, how powerful is that message, do you think?
I think it's a very powerful message. Pinoposisyon niya talaga yung sarili niya as a hands-on public servant.
Okay.
Pag sa executive branch ng government, halata mo kapag may problema. Either may bagyo, nawalan ka ng kuryente, may baha, you have to respond immediately. Or else, your public or your constituency will let you know. It's very direct form of governance. And
Okay.
for him to present himself that way on a national stage, I think it provides a great compelling persona or public servant that people will latch on.
Meron na siyang model na sinusundan. No? So, parang
Yes.
tawag sa kanya, Duterte Light, di ba? Parang LGU, mayor, etc., etc. So on the one hand, you've got this strong message, no? But on the other hand, I think he has to watch out for being, ephemeral. Parang eclectic yung messaging niya na depende kung sino kausap niya.
You will see before, no? Hindi mo makikita si Duterte'ng sumasayaw. Public servant. But for Isko, he can do both. He can provide the hard-hitting services and he can entertain. So, we'll see if that's a strategy that works out for him.
That's an interesting point, Mitch. But, to follow through on that, no, it's his address, yung parang ina-address niya yung audience niya, depende sa anong mainit.
Yes.
It's also reflected on his party affiliation over the years.
Yes.
Di ba, medyo palipat-lipat siya ng partido. Is that a plot? Can't that be a minus normally, or doesn't matter anymore?
It depends. I think there are a lot of politicians like him who have hopped a lot of pero hindi mo siya makakalimutan when you're evaluating him as a candidate. One could say in a positive sense na tactical siya. Pupunta siya kung saan yung magandang opportunity para sa kanya. Pero on the negative side, you could also wonder if he's a political butterfly na possibly opportunistic ba ito in terms of the political affiliations or even the messaging that he's using.
Well, it can be a commentary on him as a politician, but di ba parang commentary din ito sa politics natin?
Exactly.
No, na parang hindi importante ang political parties eh. Well, what can you say?
Yes, it's more of parang a party of alignment and interests rather than what you see internationally na medyo based talaga sa political leanings or principles. Nakikita natin lagi na kaibigan, barka-barkada o kung sino man yung magkakasundo at this moment.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, Mitch, daghan salamat. No?
Salamat.
Mga kapatid, if we wanted to sum this up, no, it's like watching a movie, di ba? Or rather, okay, it's a bit like watching That's Entertainment. But beneath all of this glitz, there's a lot of serious stuff going around. Okay, there's this messaging that, oh no, I'm the guy who can really solve your problems because I know what you are going through. But on the other hand, well, depende kung sino akong kausap ko, yun na yung sasabihin ko. So, that's it. We're gonna have to look at this movie and see how this movie will progress. Will this story move from fantasy to reality? That is the $64 question. Let's wait and see. It's not much longer. In the meantime, again, I'm Mon Isberto, and this is Optics, the politics of perception.
Mga programang mapapanood ngayong linggo ng gabi sa 1PH. Hatid sa inyo ng PLDT Home.
Mga kababayan, ang bagong Pangulo ng Pilipinas,